Hello again, YouTube. Welcome to South Carolina living. I got some work to do. As you can see, my grass is kind of getting long this morning, so I've decided to come out and mow the grass, except I ran into a small problem already. As you can see here, possibly you can see here, started to run a line along here with the riding mower, and it was cutting, except for some reason it's got this this weird mohawk look to it. I'm hoping you can see on the camera. But I was trying to figure out what that was, so of course, as any man would do, I went in and decided to tear apart the mower to check it out. Took the deck off and flipped it over, and this is what I've got. These are my blades that are on here, and as you can see, there's a tiny gap between where the blades are cutting. So me, this being my first riding mower, didn't know what was going on. I thought maybe they just needed to be sharpened or something. So went down to the local place and told them, hey, I've got these blades and I need to get them sharpened or something, and the guy just kind of laughed at me and showed me what is supposed to be on here is actually this size. So apparently, this being my old one, this being the new one, I have done a little bit of damage running over some rocks and roots and stuff like that with my mower, because I put on the new ones, there's not a gap, and apparently there's not supposed to be a gap, so that it'll cut evenly and not leave the mohawk in my grass. So purchased the new blades. You can see the difference. I know what you're thinking, how the heck could you cut your grass? And I've only had the mower for a year, so I've cut my grass maybe 8 times and I've destroyed it that bad already. So I have to be a little more careful apparently. That was only one of the problems. When I tried to get the nut off of this one side here to get the blade off, it was a struggle in itself. And then when I got down to the actual shaft here, the shaft had to be replaced because this is the old shaft. As you can see, the little star part is all worn down, and that's because I must have hit something and ground it down, or wasn't torqued right or something, I don't know. But it damaged the star point so that the new blade wouldn't line up on there and lock onto it like it's supposed to. And then of course this was a bear and a half to get off, to loosen the nut off of it. But now I've got the new one in there, and I got a pair of new blades. And what I'm going to be doing now, before I actually install these, is I'm going to be sharpening the blades, because as you can see, they come, it's got a painted edge on it right now, but it does have an edge where you can have it sharpened here on both edges of both of them. So I'm going to take my grinder to these and just lightly sharpen the edges at the same angle that they currently are, just to give me a little bit better of a cut. And then I had to order another belt as well for this bad boy, because I've got a little bit of wear showing on this one here. So hopefully if I show it in the camera, it'll probably be better. There's a little bit of wear on this belt, so I'm going to be replacing that as well. And then I've got a steering issue, but the steering issue can't be fixed today, so I'm gonna sharpen the blades, put those back on. I'm gonna use the original belt until the new one comes in next week, so I can cut my grass. Because if I let it go till next week, it'll be too tall and it'll definitely mess us up. Another thing that you should do when you take off your deck and or doing things like that is you should scrape off anything that's stuck to the bottom here. It'll help the lawnmower to run a little bit better, especially anything that's stuck along the walls inside here, because you want it to be as smooth as possible so that the air flows and it actually pushes out all the grass out the little exhaust side here. So that's what I've got to look forward to so far this morning. A little bit of grinding and some scraping. Yeehaw. Talk to you later. Alright, I got to the blades. This is how I'm going to be sharpening them. I've got them anchored down to this board since I just have to skim the edges of the blades. Anytime you do anything like this, make sure that your work is securely fastened to something so that it's not going to move. We don't know what the grinder is going to do to it other than grind it down, but we don't want it flying off of here either. Also remember all your safety gear. Safety glasses a must. Gloves really important because the metal will get hot when you grind it down. If you have a mask, I would suggest using a mask. I'm actually outside, so I'm not too concerned with the mask right now, but if it becomes a problem just sharpening these two edges on the two blades, then I will put on a mask as well. But we'll check it out again when I'm done. Talk to you later. Alright, this is the blade sharpened. All I did was grind it on the same angle that it was. Don't twist the grinder side to side, otherwise it'll round this off, but just cut it along the same angle that it is, and then you just kind of do a little quick scuff along the other edge, knock off any areas that are on it, and voila, you've got a brand new nicely sharpened blade. Apparently you're supposed to, depending on how often you cut your grass, you're supposed to sharpen your blades. For businesses, I know they do it once a week or a couple times a week because they do so many yards, but for home stuff here, if I do it 4 times, then I probably need to check it and see if it needs to be sharpened again. And so we'll be trying to keep a better track of that from now on so that this doesn't happen again, because this can get expensive if you have to keep buying blades and replacing them all the time. Talk to you later. Alright, so I got done scraping the undercarriage of my deck, and as all you guys know, nobody likes a dirty undercarriage on your deck, so you got to scrape it, get all of the debris and Klingons and whatever else is on there off of there, because nobody likes that. Plus it'll increase airflow, and whatever helps to increase the airflow and the evacuation port here, then we're all good. So guys, always remember that. Nobody likes a dirty bottom of the deck. Okay, YouTube. Now I've switched over the deck to the top so I can rerun this belt back around there before reinstalling it to the bottom of the riding mower. And as any guy will tell you, you don't need no instructions. You just need to go with the flow. Well, I must not be the typical guy. I brought out the book so that I will make sure that I am getting this in the right places, because this can be a little confusing to some people to just look at it. But always use your instruction manual if you have it handy, unless you absolutely know how this goes, which I do. But always, 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 safety, safety, safety. Okay, YouTube, it's back together and operating properly. As you can see, I've knocked down some grass. Still have some weed whacking to do, but the little bit over an acre of mowing that I had to do is done. And now I just got some touch-up stuff that has to be done. A little weed whacking, that's it. Whew. Luckily it's only about 90 to 92 degrees out here in South Carolina, which means it probably feels like 100 to 101 because of the high humidity. So it's a good thing I'm going to get inside the house now before it really starts to get hot. Talk to you later.